So this is in regards to if you have a classic car and you have spongy brakes, and if you're absolutely sure that you have no air in the system, you've bled it, you've probably gone through, a couple of quarts of brake fluid, there's no leak in your system, your calipers are new or they're in perfect condition, your wheel cylinders are good. This might work for you because this worked for me. My car originally came with 4-wheel drum brakes, and I upgraded it to front discs, and I got myself a bigger master cylinder, like the one pictured on here. Well, the problem was my original, it was shorter than my new one. So when I installed the new one on there, the angle of the pedal push rod wasn't enough to push the plunger of the master cylinder all the way in. So what ends up happening is I have like spongy brakes. From the initial step, there's nothing, and then once I hit it to the tail end, then all of a sudden it bites and it hits the floor, and it's not supposed to do that. So it turns out that when I stepped on the pedal, it was kind of like, instead of it going straight, it was kind of going in at an angle. What I did was I repositioned the brake push rod mounting position on the brake arm, the pedal arm. So in my case, I drilled a hole lower to the point where the push rod at a resting position, it's straight. In this next diagram, this is another way to make sure that yours in the right position. Disconnect it from the pedal arm, and then push the rod up to as high as it can go. Mark that on the pedal arm. Push it all the way down as low as it can go. Mark that on the pedal arm, and measure wherever the middle of that distance, and that's where you drill, as you can see on the diagram. There's videos out there where there's possible air in your master cylinder because it wasn't bled properly, bench bled properly or something like that, or maybe air got in it during installation. If you're sure you don't have that air, this is probably a problem. And here's another thing too: if your brake pedal arm has a bump stop, make sure there's about at least 1/4 of an inch in between the bump stop and the pedal arm. So when you release the brake pedal, the master cylinder can decompress fully. That way, you're not riding your brakes and burning your pads and your fluid.